Hey everybody, it's me, Remy, the comic book poser, and today I'm here to give you my definitive rankings from last week's New Comic Book Day and see if these are books that you should pick up on this week's New Comic Book Day if you didn't read them, and you'll see what made the list after this.
Hey, little girl, did you want to know a secret?
I got 5 on it. 5. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Alright, so this is going to be a lightning round of the books I read this week, only because I might not have the time to edit my usual long ramble. But I read 30 books. I liked most of them. I think there are 2 books that might be falling off the list. And if you want to know what's dropping, or ask me in the comments below. Don't forget to enter the 500 subscriber giveaway to exit the Poserverse.
Daddy,
Yes,
Daddy,
sir.
I want to do a video that we talk about heroes.
We can do that end of the week. So we're going with a simple top 5 this week. Coming in at number 5 from Vault Comics.
Crazy?
Yep, this was a new number 1. It's Devil's Red Bride.
Is it kind of like Mulan?
She does kind of look like Mulan. It's a like 17th century samurai tale.
Daddy.
It's got samurai, it's got romance, it's got occult, it's got all kinds of cool things. This series, I think, is going to catch like wildfire. It's really, really good. Coming in number 4, another number 1 from Aftershock. It's We Live number 1. This was an interesting, like, pre-post-apocalyptic tale where you've got kids that are being told that they can, like, if you find a rescue pod and a bracelet for your kid, you essentially give them that pod and get instructions for how they can go.
We're comic book posers.
Yes, we are. It's about kids and their parents trying to find a way to survive. This is probably one of the books where they do a really excellent job kind of conveying the emotional journey
Daddy?
that the characters go on, and in a way that you feel it. So this, like the Devil's Red Bride, is gonna, I think, take us on a wild ride. Number 3 from Oni Press, you've got The Vein number 1. There's the creators' names. This is wild. It's about people who are robbing blood banks to steal blood.
Steal blood?
Yep.
She steals blood?
Yep. It's like a serial.
Is that a lot of blood?
I think, yeah, that's what it's supposed to be on the cover.
She's inside of blood?
It looks like she's floating in a pool of blood.
Does she like blood?
I think so. But it's a sting of serial crimes, and everybody's trying to figure out what's going on, and you only get little nuggets, but I'm hooked. Coming in at number 2 for the week, Commanders in Crisis number 1 from Image. The premise of this book is interesting. Imagine if the first MCU film you saw was the second half of Infinity War. That it just jumps into a big battle scene. That's what's happening in this book. You're learning and unpacking things about the characters as you go. And there's an interesting little preface in this about how, they want to introduce you to all of these people in the midst of crisis instead of building a team up. And if there's one person that can kind of conduct this massive car crash of a premise, it's Steve Orlando Loves Comics. And I think it lands, especially with the reveal of the significance of these different heroes that I'll talk about more later when the second issue drops. But I liked it. I think the premise is kind of cool. I didn't feel as overwhelmed as I thought I would be based on the way that they pitched the book, but it's really, really good. And there's a good chance that you see a copy of number 1 up for a giveaway on this week's live stream on Thursday night, because I ended up picking up like 4 or 5 different covers. But I like it. The last book, coming in at number 1, and I think we all saw this coming from a mile away. There's this little book coming out that my boy Stoney Williams has been plugging for quite some time. Villainous number 1 dropped this week. There's the name of the rest of the creative teams, but you've got 2 Mad Cave Talent Search winners and America's favorite letterer, Justin Birch. It's a good riff on looking at the seedy underbelly of the world of heroes and how they, deal with their assistants. It's kind of like The Boys in so much as the same kind of like clerical work or non-glamour as it expected to be for the superheroes that join. I think the character of Tilly is really compelling. I think what happens at the end, it sets you up for a very interesting ride. I think the art in this book is sick. I really, really hope that it sold enough to warrant a second printing. I don't know how many were ordered. I also have seen that this might be one of the few Mad Cave books that is having independent variants come out that we were talking on my stream Thursday night with Sony, that there are 3 or 4 different stores that have commissioned exclusive covers for book number 1, and I'll see if I can put the links to those down below. But it's a good ride. Pick one up if you can. I've bought like 6 copies now, just to give them to people who I go, you should read this book because it's really good. I read a bunch of books this week. The 4 Ten of Swords books that I picked up were all interesting. I kind of liked the deep dive in the handbook, but there were a couple of things that took some turns that confused me a little bit, and I asked my guy Chris, who is Chaos in Comics, who has his Ten of Swords podcast, to see if there were some things that I missed and he could help fill in on. And it started making some sense then. I think if I did a longer list, the 2 of the 3 would solidly be within a top 10. I'm not shocked with an all indie haul this week. Rorschach was okay, but it was nothing to super write home about. I think I could get by with trade waiting on the rest of that book, but we'll see. What do you think? Are there books that you like this week that you want to know where I would have put them? Are there books that I rated that you think should go lower? Let me know in the comments down below. And as always, thanks for stopping by, and have a good one.
Hey, little girl, did you want to know a secret?
I got 5 on it. 5. 1, 2, 3, 4.